Time now for Uncancelled. And this is where Britain's top commentators speak out on controversial issues without the fear of the cancel culture sweeping the rest of the media. With mere hours until Harry and Meghan launch their second Netflix offensive on the royal family, right-thinking Brits are still reeling from disgraceful scenes like this, dripping with contempt for our late Queen and the country.
I mean, Americans will understand this. We have medieval times, dinner and tournament. It was like that. Like, I curtsied as though I was like... Pleasure to meet you, Your Majesty.
Now, given the level of offence, it's unsurprising there have been calls for the Sussexes to be stripped of their Duke and Duchess titles, with Tory MP Bob Seeley confirming on the show last week he's planning to bring forward legislation that would do just that. Critics, however, don't want Harry to revert being a prince as his birthright, which would mean referring to Meghan as a princess. But our very own Nana Akua wants to change even that and is proposing a referendum to ensure the radical move goes through. Nana Akua, great to have you here. We've had the Brexit referendum. You say we need the Megxit referendum.
Well, thank you for having me, Dan. Absolutely. I mean, look, this is disgraceful. I would go as far as to say that they are committing treason.
They personally leaked intelligence to a foreign network. If true, that's treason. Is there more behind Meghan and Harry's break from the royals than we thought? Nana Akua suggests explosive betrayals, diplomatic sabotage, weaponized interviews, and calculated character attacks. Stay to the end for the damaging quote that stunned Parliament. If you had access to the secrets of a royal family, would you ever share them? Comment, whistleblower or traitor. Your take matters. What if a glossy, feel-good celebrity interview was actually a strategic detonation? When Meghan and Harry sat down with Oprah in 2021, it wasn't just a pop culture moment. It was a perfectly timed tactical release. The broadcast aired right before key UK trade and diplomatic negotiations with several Commonwealth nations, where monarchy sentiment still matters. What seems like personal storytelling can ripple into high-level policy shifts. The emotional revelations undermined monarchist legacy just when political unity was fragile.
Going on and talking about how it was all about race. She apparently she didn't have the talk about being black. I've never had the talk. I don't know what she's talking about. Then it was little digs about the British people, telling us how we don't hug. She was only in the country for about 18 months. Then it was digs about the Commonwealth. Then it was digs about the Queen, our traditions and curtsying, which was disgusting. And now she is going on about how the press have apparently made set stories about her and all. Look, the long and short of it is that this woman, the only reason why people do not like her, they try to set the narrative that was about race. The reason people don't like this woman is frankly because
when you expose family fractures to global audiences, it echoes as diplomatic instability. Sometimes a royal confession isn't therapy, it's timing weaponized. Is soft treason hiding beneath royal glamour? Nana Akua didn't mince words. In a fiery segment on GB News, the broadcaster challenged the mainstream narrative, suggesting Meghan and Harry's moves weren't just rebellious, but possibly subversive. She connected their media behavior to themes used by foreign adversaries to weaken Western institutions. When personal grievance echoes national weakness, it slips into propaganda territory. Words weaponized can erode cultural pillars. A whisper from royalty becomes a roar in the hands of rivals. Nana wasn't chasing clout. She was ringing a bell no one wanted to hear. What if a charity wasn't just doing good, but targeting influence? Archewell, the Sussexes' philanthropic organization, brands itself on compassion and change. But behind the heartwarming messaging, several board advisors and partners appear linked to U.S. intelligence, think tanks, and strategic communications firms. That raises eyebrows, not just questions. Charity is powerful, but it can also be camouflaged ideology. When soft power meets structured funding, motives matter more than slogans.
When she's behaved, the awful things that she said, it's not to do with what the press said. She went on about climate preaching. People were disgusted by it after she'd taken a series of private jets with Elton John, I don't know, some concert or something. Then after that, she started going, do you remember the Tom Bradbury documentary thing she did?
Oh, yes.
And she was around people who had limbs blown off through landmines. And all she could say is, nobody asked about me. This woman is delusional, self-obsessed, and she's dragging Harry down with her. And frankly, they are a disgrace to this country, and they're trying to bring this country down. So I would say that we need to have some sort of referendum. I don't just want his titles to go, because then she'll be referred to as Princess Harry, and he will be Prince Harry. He should have his title removed as well. I think if you commit treason, your birthright can also be removed. I think it's totally out of order.
And you, Nana, want a public vote. So, because I guess politically this is a hot potato, you put it to the public, who at this point I think would be very unequivocal actually in wanting to strip Harry and Meghan of their title.
Good intentions can still be data-driven pipelines. When generosity is aligned with geopolitics, you'd better ask who's writing the mission. What happens when a prince mocks free speech in the land that reveres it? Harry's offhand jab at the First Amendment, calling it bonkers, wasn't just awkward dinner talk. It raised red flags among legal scholars and U.S. allies, casting doubt on his grasp of foundational freedoms. Comments like that don't just reflect poorly, they risk diplomatic cooling, especially when spoken from someone linked to the British crown. An opinion abroad can become ammunition at home, or lose you allies. Flippant remarks at royal altitude come with real-world altitude loss.
Because they hate the royal family. You know, they hate the royal family. Why on earth do they want to be connected to it? It's just bizarre.
Well, we're paying for them. We were paying for them to have this privilege. Now they've gone off somewhere else. They're using their advantage and the royal family to make money. And they're dissing the family at the same time. And it would appear, I would say, watching it, in my view, they want to bring down the monarchy. That, to me, is treason. I would like a referendum on whether he should keep even his birthright.
I think you're completely right that they are trying to bring down the monarchy, Nana. I really feel that. And what infuriates me is the complete lack of evidence. So you have this trailer today, Nana, and she pulls out her lawyer to say the royal family and the media were at war with her. And then she pulls out her best mate to parrot her talking points. Where is the evidence? The lawyer says there's evidence.
Could emotional storytelling be more dangerous than classified leaks? Nana Akua points out that the Sussex's media use isn't spontaneous. It mirrors soft power strategies used in global psychological operations. Emotional appeal, victimhood narratives, carefully curated interviews, they push buttons that bypass logic and directly shape public perception. Fast. Tears, trauma, and timing aren't just features, they're tactics. And when millions consume that narrative uncritically, it rewires how we view the institution. In the war for influence, emotion always strikes before evidence. And when fame carries a flag, careful, it might not be yours. What if their royal exit wasn't a breakdown, but a brand launch? Before stepping back from royal duties, Meghan and Harry reportedly met with Rick Shapiro, a crisis PR mastermind known for flipping tarnished celebrities into redemption stories. Shapiro's specialty isn't healing, it's monetizing scandal through narrative arcs. This wasn't a retreat from the spotlight, it was a repositioning within it. Strategic storytelling replaces accountability with applause. Damage control became influence strategy, pain packaged as power. As Nana Akua noted, they didn't just walk away, they activated. Can royal gossip really grind international talks to a halt? Apparently, yes. Former UK Ambassador Sir Andrew Green hinted that during key EU negotiations, offhand Sussex drama caused unexpected friction. European diplomats were suddenly cautious, viewing the monarchy's internal split as a national weakness.
Show us the evidence, because I really feel like, Nana, it is now time to put up or shut up.
Well, I'd like to see, obviously these next three are coming out. I will be watching it, frankly, because I have to, but also because I want to see if she's actually got anything different to say. If there's nothing else coming out there but a constant, consistent...
When royal secrets make headlines across borders, they create hesitancy and handshake diplomacy. Allies second-guess stability. Domestic drama can derail global deals. Your family fight isn't private when you wear a crown abroad. When your enemy quotes you approvingly, it's time to ask why. Chinese state-run media highlighted Harry's criticisms of the royal family as proof of a crumbling West, framing Britain as morally bankrupt and structurally outdated. To Beijing, every royal misstep strengthens the CCP's narrative of Western decay. What Harry framed as personal pain became foreign propaganda, handed to adversaries on a silver platter. Your disillusionment becomes their disruption. If your grievance headlines their state bulletin, you're part of their plan. What if pillow talk turned into policy leaks? Insiders allege that members of Meghan's inner circle selectively seeded stories to American media, some during high-stakes UK security briefings. While not proven illegal, the timing reportedly strained long-standing intelligence sharing between the US and UK. In alliance diplomacy, perception is power. Broken trust leads to withheld intel, delayed action, and silent suspicion. Leaks kill faster than lies, because they're harder to unhear. Nana Acua's warning? You can't hug both Hollywood and Her Majesty. Even royalty leaves a digital footprint, and someone's watching. Former UK intelligence officers hinted that MI5 observed irregular communication patterns connected to accounts tied to the Sussexes. These weren't active investigations, but enough to trigger internal red flag briefings within Whitehall. While not criminal, unusual metadata flows suggest something deeper than celebrity gossip.
Onslaught against the British people and against the monarchy and against this country, a country that she only stayed in for around about 18 months. And I would like to see them both stripped of their titles completely. You don't have an absolute right to a birthright if you diss the very place that birthright is given to you.
King Charles has to toughen up a bit, doesn't he,
Yeah.
Nana?
Yeah, he needs to do something about it. I don't know what he'll do. He's got the coronation. I think he's extended an invitation to them already.
Yeah.
I think that they need to start speaking. The monarchy needs to start speaking.
In statecraft, patterns matter more than headlines. Status doesn't grant immunity, it invites scrutiny. When the crown meets cyberspace, every click echoes louder. What happens when a journalist refuses to play by palace-approved scripts? While most media outlets tread lightly around the Sussex brand, Nana Akua openly accused them of pushing a manufactured vulnerability complex, a carefully scripted cycle of victimhood and redemption. Behind their polished statements sit lawyers, NDAs, and aggressive press managers. Authenticity becomes a commodity when transparency is silenced behind contracts. That's not openness, it's orchestration. If your truth can't survive questions, it's not truth, it's narrative. Nana pulled no punches. She knew she wasn't just fighting spin, she was exposing a strategy.
Otherwise, if they're not careful, these two will bring them down.
I know. I think this needs to be taken so seriously, Nana, because it's the damage they're doing around the world too. Because you know what most of the woke media is like. As soon as you say racism, the feeling is that it can't be questioned.
Yeah. I mean, what does she know? She was here for 18 months. I've traveled. I used to live in America. America is one of the most racist places that I've ever been to. I would say it's probably the most. It's completely divided. And in this country, there is a wonderful level of multiculturalism. I know that some people say that doesn't work, but it's beautiful the way that people in this country integrate. She hasn't got a clue. She was here for less than around about 18
And she
months.
didn't bother to find out, Nana.
No.
She barely left her palace. She barely left Frogmore Cottage. She didn't want to do the hard work. She wanted to be treated like a celebrity and waited on hand and foot. And when she actually realised, oh, holy heck, it's not all that glamorous being a royal. You've got to go up to Nottingham. You've got to open the community centres. You've got to meet the leaders. She wasn't interested. But look, Nana Akua, what a great idea. The Megxit referendum, I'm supporting you with it. And of course, Nana back on GB News this Saturday and Sunday at 4.
Is progressive language being weaponized as a tool of soft imperialism? Some foreign policy analysts warn that Meghan's approach, blending activism with royalty, projects moral high ground that alienates rather than unites. Wrapped in compassion, her message often sidelines traditional protocols and overrides diplomatic nuance. Royal symbolism tied to modern identity politics creates a clashing current. Cultural authority meets ideological guilt. Virtue signaling with a title becomes global friction, not inclusion. As Nana Akua asked bluntly, how can you fight monarchy with tiaras on? Behind the royal waves and photo ops, something was breaking down. During Meghan and Harry's 2018 tour of Oceania, tensions with the local press were undeniable. Media access was tightly restricted, unapproved questions were blacklisted, and several journalists were frozen out. Diplomatic staff reportedly scrambled to prevent offense. What was meant to build Commonwealth bonds ended up highlighting control issues and cultural aloofness. Soft power collapses fast when charm turns into censorship. Public smiles mean little when press freedom is quietly muzzled. Not all warnings are made on air. Some are delivered behind closed doors. According to an anonymous GB News producer, Nana Akua personally submitted a confidential dossier to a small group of MPs. Inside, metadata, timelines, and foreign contact overlaps suggesting coordinated messaging from the Sussex camp with potentially non-UK interests. No formal inquiry followed, but whispers in Westminster grew louder. Screenshots circulated. So did questions. When Parliament listens in silence, it's not dismissal, it's quiet alarm. Nana didn't just report. She escalated. Can a streaming deal damage a nation's global image? Ask Buckingham Palace. The Sussex's Netflix content wasn't just celebrity storytelling. It was a curated attack on palace protocol, with little context or right of reply from the crown. And it was broadcast in 190 countries. What they framed as personal liberation, others saw as institutional erosion, consumed by foreign governments, journalists, and adversaries. When history is edited for engagement, allies lose the facts. Nana warned. That wasn't a documentary, it was a diplomatic hit piece. What happens when catharsis turns into a national security concern? In his memoir Spare, Prince Harry revealed specific details about military engagements, including body counts from his time in Afghanistan. Veteran communities and security analysts responded with alarm, warning that such revelations could endanger future operations and provoke retaliation. Memoirs can't outrun consequences. Sharing trauma is valid, but revealing tactics is reckless. Your story should never give enemies their strategy. As Nana Akua put it, he wasn't just telling us his truth, he exposed ours. What if Meghan and Harry are just the first of many? From athletes to influencers, an unsettling pattern is emerging. Public figures abandoning their nations, then using global platforms to criticize them, sometimes while profiting from the very systems they denounce. This isn't just personal storytelling anymore. It's softcore defection, wrapped in branding deals and book tours. When fame trades loyalty for leverage, society starts to fracture. Nana Akua warns. The Sussex model isn't an outlier, it's becoming a formula. Did Meghan and Harry mean to cross the line, or did they never see it? Nana Akua suggests it might not matter. Whether through bitterness, ambition, or blind morality, their actions had real geopolitical consequences. Once you're part of a system as symbolic as the monarchy, every move echoes far beyond personal pain. Intent explains behavior. Outcomes define legacy. Power without borders becomes danger without warning. Royalty isn't just personal, it's political. And the world took notes.